Hello and welcome to Levi with Levi. This is just a little segment where I talk a little bit about something, maybe about nothing, and basically just see what comes out of myself when I just sit down and talk. So I guess I'll just get started from here. Yeah, there's a couple of things on my mind for sure. One thing I am thinking quite a bit about is the food and eating and kind of this desire, I guess, for food, or maybe unhealthy food, particularly. And I'm just really watching kind of my thoughts kind of starting on a certain trail that will lead to just an increasing amount of desire for a food. So it usually starts with just a little pang. Maybe it's coming from some boredom or something, and then the mind kind of takes me into this loop that kind of builds and just start to think about the different foods and kind of build them up as something very pleasurable in my mind. And then I sit there and kind of feel this desire to go get that food somehow, even though I maybe have some healthy food at home which I could eat. And it really is as simple as just choosing to look at or choosing to kind of attach to those thoughts or not. It's like it's either you can just let it go. Like that's what I mean. But it's like I'm choosing to buy into it because I see kind of a perceived benefit of eating this food because I guess I have a lot of associations from the past where I kind of you kind of temporarily stop, I guess, your yeah, the suffering or the boredom or the loneliness or whatever it is coming from. So yeah, I guess it's just letting go. And I walked through the store today, and I just went in there, and I was gonna get some dinner because I had no food at home. And I just walked through there, and I kind of got sort of the stuff for dinner, and then as I'm walking past like the ice cream, the snacks, the chocolate and everything, and I just see as I walk through it like the thought. There's it's coming a thought. A thought is being introduced to me, and it says like, "Hey, let's get an ice cream." And then typically I would kind of start a dialogue in my head about this, like, no, I mean, shouldn't have an ice cream. We're gonna eat dinner soon, and then it's like, all right, and then we come to the snacks, and then it's like you kind of discuss with yourself, and all this discussion does is just build it up. It gives it energy. It becomes more real, sort of, or it feels more real. It feels like something we need to act upon. But it's like today, I just noticed how I kind of walk past the ice cream, and just not getting into the discussion with myself about it. It's like I hear my mind is kind of trying to start a discussion on the ice cream, but then it's just you just let it go. You don't have to do anything about these things. It's just not engage with it and just see it. I don't mean to like force it away, like, oh, go away, thought. It's not what I mean at all. It's just you just let the thought and the energy and the feelings around that thought just be. Just feel it and see it, and just keep focusing on something else, on reality instead. It's just that's always the choice. Am I gonna focus on reality, or am I going to focus on the thoughts? And then I came like past the snacks. It was exactly the same. I just hear kind of the invitation to start the discussion, and I just let it go. And then you come to the chocolate, and it's the same again. It's just letting it go, and I can kind of feel the energy is kind of releasing, because I think there is kind of a lot of energy around some of the thoughts, or not energy, or maybe it is energy or whatever, but it's like it's a lot of, I guess, a thought that is used to being taken very seriously sort of has feels maybe like it has like a stronger hold, like it's more, you feel more around it. So I kind of felt as I walked by and I was like standing in the, like, to pay, I just felt how it was so light to just let those things go. Because usually I go and discuss it, right? It's like, no, it's like I'm trying to logically decide not to do the thing, or maybe I logically decide to do it, because it's a discussion. Sometimes one side wins and sometimes the other win. But it's not necessarily to take that discussion at all. I can just completely walk around the discussion, just let it go. Like, it really is that simple. It's just drop it, just leave it. And it's true for everything, not just food. I'm just noticing how often I'm thinking or like hearing my mind talk about things that happened yesterday. Like, I met a bunch of new people yesterday at like a karaoke bar, and like I also brought like a friend there, and it's like, and that's a friend who haven't seen me kind of in a space where I'm kind of expressing myself as freely as I typically do on a karaoke stage, because it's just a place to let go of who I usually am. This idea of Levi. I did some quotes there, uh, but yeah. So it's like I feel that okay, and then I've kind of been singing like with together with all the new friends like in there, and it's and talking and everything. It's like I'm just hearing myself wanting to start the discussion on whether I did kind of well, or if I was weird, or if what will people think of me, and what are people thinking, and what should they be thinking, all these things. And it's the same area. I can get into that discussion, in my head, and kind of ponder upon yesterday's evening, which, like, if I don't like, and it's just I can just I can just drop it. I don't have to go into the discussion. It's not like I will never come to like this fantastic conclusion if I kind of discuss it enough in my, like, oh right, yeah, there was I said a really great thing there, and yeah, I was weird, but it's so nice that I'm able to kind of say these things now, and I'm feeling so free, and blah 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 blah. That's like that's just buying into the identity and everything. You can just completely go around the whole thing. We have no clue how it went. People see us through their own filters. We don't know how they perceive us, and it's like we just can never know these things. So the discussion is actually completely unnecessary. And whether you're able to logically come to the point where you say that, yeah, I did great yesterday, even that is just unnecessary. You're just buying into a new idea of what you should be or shouldn't be. So yeah, I'm really just looking at these thoughts lately, and how it's like, it really, like, someone, I think maybe it was Andrew from Dualistic Unity, it was like explaining it like kind of the thoughts are like a balloon, a bunch of balloons that are not inflated, they're just going around in the head, and just as soon as you kind of engage with the thought, you kind of start to blow up the thought or the balloon, right? And it takes up more space, it takes up more energy, it feels more important. It's kind of harder to see other things because this thought has become so big. So yeah, I feel just don't start blowing them at all. Just see them, appreciate them for what they are. Like they're not evil at all. They're just trying to do its best for you. But as you kind of realize what we are, we're not those thoughts, you know. But but yeah, so we don't have to we don't have to engage with them at all. I feel I'm repeating myself a lot here now, but it's just such a mind blowing discovery, and it's like I feel like it's something that kind of unraveling. It's like I'm seeing it for certain things, like some of the earliest things where I started to do this. It's like I've had this tendency to kind of be very critical of myself. Like for example, when I think back for a conversation that I had where I felt I said something weird, it's like I immediately said like, "Oh, I hate myself," that kind of stuff in my head. So it was like one of the earliest things I kind of discovered was that's ridiculous. Like I don't know how people kind of takes like how they perceive what I said, and if I'm judged for that, it's like it doesn't matter, and why? Like I don't know any of those things, and I don't really hate myself. It's like it's just this loop that has been probably running since I was a teenager. Since I started to worry about how I'm perceived to a larger degree, and yeah, it's I feel like I really feel like that was one of the first time I noticed how I can just drop it. I don't need to kind of start to discuss with myself. No, I don't hate myself, and like kind of go into the discussion. No, because I've started to love myself, and it's because of this, and I'm actually, uh, these and these people like me, so why wouldn't I like myself? And yeah, some people don't like me, but I don't care about that. And that whole discussion, that was the first time. Like, I don't need to take that discussion. I can just hear myself say it and don't pick it up. Just leave it there. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. That's it. And then there are these things that are kind of harder to see. And for example, the thing with food is quite recently that I've kind of discovered or seen so clearly that it's just a thought as well. Because I've kind of heard it, people say like, but it really just starts with a thought that just blows up. You could just drop it. And it's fantastic. It's really, really fantastic. I'm not saying I'm never blowing it up anymore because I really am. But yeah, it's it is even interesting to just watch myself now blowing up these while I kind of it's kind of but then again it's because I think it's because I haven't clearly like really clearly seen the benefit of or like I don't know. I think I'm still perceiving it as something pleasurable, and I kind of wanna blow up the balloon so that I can go do it. But it's just if I don't need to do it. Obviously, yeah. And another thing I wanted to touch upon is this. I want to change the subject a little bit. So it's this idea uh, that I am something. It is this idea of me and who I am. I have an idea of it. Other people have an idea of it, and they're of course different, but probably some overlap here and there. And this idea of how I should be, how I should kind of act, it's like that is slowing us down to an extreme degree. And yesterday I really saw this because I was at a karaoke place, and I put on a song that was kind of a rap, and it was going really fast. And I just noticed that in order to be able to sing that song at the speed it was going, I just absolutely had to let go of who I am. I couldn't, because there was just no way to process that speed of that song through the filter of Levi and what I think I should be and how I think I should act. There was just no way. I just had to let go and just go with the flow of the moment. What kind of naturally came out as, like, I had to be really close to the music, like really close to it, pay attention to it, and the text was coming up, and I had to kind of match those things live, right, with like, so it fit. And whenever, and it I really felt with that song that I didn't have a choice. And I think it's so transferable to almost every situation, or like every situation we're in. Like when we're in, we can perceive things through us, and sometimes that seems easier because maybe things are going a little bit slower than a rap at a stage. But we will always trade sensitivity in a moment away if we are kind of trying to stay within some sort of a frame of who we think we should be. So like if I'm trying to be nice always, for example, it's like then I will have to filter everything through that niceness, because I think I know what the best thing is for a moment, right? And then that's quite the process to kind of take. And I don't think we have like one thing we're filtering it through. Is like being nice is one, but we have so many. I am, for example, I should speak eloquently, and I should, seem calm, for example, and I should, yeah, let's say those three things. Like, can you imagine filtering everything you're saying through three like filters? And we have a lot, but we're just this box. We're just this big box um, of filters, and it is so all consuming to kind of express ourselves through those filters. And that's why we think it's difficult to express ourselves, because we're trying to be something, we're trying to adhere to all these filters, and it's tremendously energy consuming. I just, the difference, like doing that and not doing that is just, but then again, like, just the reason we want those filters is because the alternative is that we don't know what we're going to say, and we don't know how it will be perceived. Maybe we will offend someone, maybe we will, say something that we wouldn't otherwise have said. It just kind of popped out of us, and we try to control this, we try to hold it back, put it through the filters, but we lose so much sensitivity to what's actually happening and what we should be expressing in this moment. So is this idea that we are not, is this, we don't think, we don't trust ourselves, basically. That's what it comes down. We don't trust ourselves to be what the moment kind of wants us, or not wants us to be, but are. We don't trust that who we are will say the right thing, will do the right thing, because we think we know what the right thing is. That's the problem. But we don't. We have no clue what the best thing is. Even if I'm at work and I'm saying something that I absolutely shouldn't be saying at work because of this, it doesn't mean that that's wrong, you know? I don't know if that's wrong. Maybe it's completely right to say that thing, and maybe that blows up my entire career. But maybe that's exactly what should be happening. Uh, but we don't know. Maybe that's not what should be happening also, but it's like it's just we don't know anything, and that's why we kind of trust more what we think should be happening than what is actually happening. And that's why we're missing what's actually happening right there, right now. So it really just comes down to ourselves. Like, how much do you trust yourself to just say the like say the thing you're saying? You know, it's like it's not even saying the right thing. It's just saying what you're saying, expressing what you're expressing, doing what you feel is right, like without thinking about whether this person will like you or leave you or, you know, give you something you need or whatever, you know. It's like there are all these considerations that are just slowing us down so much. And like I, I'm not like trying to say that I'm kind of constantly living like this, but I'm noticing like the more I'm able to just be myself and let go of these ideas of who I should be, everything just becomes so much lighter. It's just you notice more, every situation is more interesting because it's uncertain. It's you can just see how everything is unfolding, and you're paying attention to what's happening, and it's just as interesting to hear what I'm gonna say as someone else because I don't know what I'm gonna say. That's the thing. I haven't planned it. I haven't gone through it in my head before I say it. And I think when we do the planning thing in the head of what we're gonna say, like maybe unconsciously even, we we will quite quickly feel like we're running out of things to say because it's very limited. It's like this little list of appropriate things to say. It's very hard to really keep a conversation if that's what we're doing. Yeah. So it's even with this stuff, I'm like sitting here just hearing myself talking about this stuff, and I just don't know like what's coming out. I really don't. And it's just coming, and I'm saying these things, and it is what it is. And I'm sure like afterwards, I'm not even gonna remember what I've said. Um, but that's just how it is. And also, I'm not sure if that's like actually true, but my perception now of kind of this recording here is that I am kind of letting go more and more, you know, of that. I feel like it was more kind of I had more filters on in the beginning of the show versus now. And I'm not sure if that's even true, but it just feels like I feel like things are flowing more now, kind of just naturally coming out. And not concerned. Maybe that's because I'm reminding myself here about like the consequences of holding on to these filters and ideas, and then things just start to flow more as I'm reminding myself of it. Because I think that's yeah, it's easy to kind of forget a little bit sometimes. Yeah. Well, this has been fun. My first solo episode of Levi with Levi, which thank you, Amanda, for that amazing version of my name. Yeah, appreciate that. So, yeah, thank you for listening. If you have been listening, which you have, otherwise, you wouldn't hear this. So, yeah, I will post a new episode at some point. Not sure when, but it'll come. All right, have a fantastic day wherever you are, and see you around.